absent. Because once I put it up there, there's no point in giving it to you. All right. Well, we look at the answers to the homework. Question 1. Name the 4 quantum numbers. Principal orbital magnetic and spin. Their symbols would be N, L, M, and S. In the same order you called them out. What values could the principal quantum number have? 1 to 7. All right. What does N equals 3 tell us or mean? It basically means the 3rd energy level. Now we can determine the number of sub-levels, but N stands for a what? It stands for the energy level. So it tells you you're in the 3rd energy level. All right, how many sub-levels do you have if N equals 2? 2. If N equals 4? 4. What are the names of the sub-levels if N equals 2?
2s, 2p.
2s and 2p. If N equals 4?
4s, 4p, 4d, 4f.
Very good. All right, which one's bigger, a 2s or a 4d?
4d.
And now we know it's not based on S and D. We know it's based on the 2 and the 4, right? Because last night you probably picked it based on D. What's the shape of the S sublevel? What's the shape of the P sublevel?
Peanut dumbbell.
You could have said peanut, 2-lobe, or dumbbell. Any of the answers are acceptable. What are the names of the P sublevel?
PX,
PY, and PZ. And that is based on the line or the axis they fall on the X, Y, and Z axis.
Say that word.
PX, PY, PZ. All right? Yes, those are the names of the P sublevel. Okay, the shape is the peanut, the dumbbell, and the 2-lobe. But their names are PX, PY, and PZ. All right, which of the following sublevels are possible? That's just like the one we just did in number 7. So is 1S possible?
Yes.
2D?
No.
3F?
No.
Got it. 4S?
Yes.
5P?
Yes.
1P?
No.
How many orbitals do you have in an F sublevel?
7.
Yes. Remember, orbitals are pictures. How many electrons can a D sublevel hold?
10.
Yes. In an S sublevel, electrons.
2.
In a P sublevel.
6.
All right. What are the values of the spin quantum number? Plus or minus a half. How many electrons do you have in an F sublevel?
14.
All right. Now, I'll know you understand if you get these 2 right. How many electrons can N equals 2 hold?
8.
8.
Eight.
If N equals 4,
How many electrons?
32.
32 is correct. Now, if N equals 2, what does N stand for again? It means an energy level. Okay, you have to remember that N is an energy level. So that means we're in the 2nd energy level. So, how many sublevels do you have?
2.
There are 2 sublevels inside of that. What are their names? 2s and 2p. How many electrons are there in 2s and 2p?
2.
And in so add those together to get your electrons, which is how you get 8. You can do orbitals. So if you did that in the 2nd energy level, how many pictures do you have? So in 2s and 2p, how many pictures does S have? Has 1 picture. How many does P have? 3. So you have 4 orbitals. Okay, and you know each orbital has how many electrons? Times 2 electrons, which will give you 8 also if you want to do it that way. I don't care which way you do it. Okay? Same thing would happen if N equals 4. Again, that's an energy level. So you have to add up all of the sublevels. So how many sublevels do you have here? So 4S, 4P, 4D, and 4F. Okay, how many electrons are in S?
2.
In P?
6.
In D?
10.
And in F?
14.
and add it all up, you get 32. Now, just as a side note, would I be so terrible as to say, what if you had n equals 5?
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, I would.
You can.
There's a pattern.
It's plus 2.
Yeah.
All right, so you know you have S, P, D, F, and some other dude, right?
Yeah.
How many pictures does S have?
3, 5, 7, 9.
Okay, y'all can do that pattern, right? Y'all just yelled it out for me. 9. So, and there's how many per each? 2. So 2 electrons, 6 electrons, 10, 14, 18.
Oh, yeah.
So we knew that was 32. 32 plus 18 is 50 electrons. If I said we had an energy level of 5, could you figure out how many electrons? I added them all together.
Oh, okay. Would you go higher than that? What's that?
Same thing.
Wait, well, you should let me take this one.
That's values. I'm not talking about that right now. We're going to do it in a minute. Yeah.
So, let's say you have
Shh.
2S.
Raquel has a question. The rest of you guys be quiet.
Let's say you have 2S, 4S, and then just S. All of them have 2 electrons. So it
Doesn't matter what the number is on the S. An S sublevel has 2 electrons maximum. It could have 1 electron, but the most it could have is 2.
How would we know that?
We're not there yet.
Okay. How many questions are on the quiz?
It has 12. All right, if you will, rather than work yourselves up, you need a sheet of paper and something to write with. That's it.
Hold on.
Because if you know the quiz stuff, then you're good to go. I told you yesterday what was on the quiz, so you guys should be fine.
Really?
I told you what was on it.
I know you just, I don't remember everything.
I know. That I cannot fix.
Well, you were in today, not bright or black. Feel a little crispy.
Must be. All right, you ready to be quiet?
This might be quiz 319.
Right now, are we ready? Because once I open it, if you're talking, I'm giving you a 0.
Okay, is it quiz 319?
I don't care what you write. Just put your name on it. Now, the chart is, or the quiz is designed in a chart format. Yep, I am. I don't care if you do it write it in the chart. It's probably easier for me to grade if you do it in the chart.
Do we have to write the questions?
Nope. There really aren't any questions.
What?
Yes,
I
see?
hate this. No. Turn it back on. Easy. Oh.
I told you yesterday. I just need you to be able to tell me the names of the quantum numbers, their symbols, and what they tell us. If you know it, you want to do it, knock yourself out.
Oh my God.
I just need to know their names. They do not have to be in order. You do have to match the correct symbol with the correct name, though, and the correct meaning. But they do not have to be in the right order. Okay? And I kept stopping and asking you, what does this quantum number tell us? And what is its symbol? And if it's on the quiz tomorrow, can you tell me this? And y'all said yes.
At the time, when it was in front of our face.
I don't know how to be more explicit than that. I don't care if you just write it across. You don't have to give me the question. I know what the question is.
Okay.
Just write the name, the symbol, and what it means. Side by side. You don't even have to write quantum number behind it. And we did all the names, all the symbols in the homework. Question 1. And we did 2 of the meetings.
We get it. We get it.
Why are you mad?
What do you think? 3 separate columns? Don't match them up.
They gotta be matched.
Well,
Well, you should just give me another one. My pencil ran out of lead.
You what?
My pencil ran out of lead.
Ran out of who?
Lead.
Ran out of what?
Graphite.
Lead.
It went
Ran out of what?
graphite, I'm sorry.
There you go. That's so much better. I can live with carbon.
I was so close to getting my grade up. And then you gave me this.
You know, then why
Is
did
it-
you say
is it
lead
more?
on the?
No, I was right. Each block is 8 points. I have a few shadows over there. Answer the
Each
question.
question is what?
Huh?
I don't forgot. Y'all took too long to start. Y'all took too long to start. I forgot.
Me too.
Then you didn't know.
I did.
I can't say it too.
I knew 7 plus or minus 2. And I was fine.
The ones that have 2 things, yes, you have to list both. If not, you lose 4 points. You get partial credit on those.
Okay.
So like, smack down, so, you know how,
Could you not use the names over there, genius?
you know how it's like, either or?
Yeah,
Can we just,
that's what I
why
had.
don't we just put one?
That's fine. The one that had an or, you can put either one.
Okay.
I'm very flexible.
Do you want to kick off? one?
No.
Oh, wait, so if you put both. What is it called? God, I don't know the name.
Tell you what the pictures look like. Some clovers.
I won't know that.
Each block is 10. I don't think they're gonna be able to.
Yes, dear.
Please work then.
Nah. You can write it, but it's not right. Almost like popcorn in the movie.
Lightly salted.
Hmm?
Lightly salted.
Just like her, but it's not too.
Y'all would think we would give you 2 points.
Took what?
I thought we would give you 2 points.
You get 4 points free as long as something's right on the quiz. If everything's wrong, I take 4 points. Yeah. Something has to be correct on the quiz to get the free 4 points.
Okay, I think I might have got
What
it.
about your name?
Hmm?
Your name.
You don't get 4 points for your name in high school, not in my class. If
They
you don't
got
know it by now, I'm not giving you 4 points for it.
on that.
You got a 4?
I got a 3.
I got a 2 on this quiz. I got 1 question right.
I get another I don't know. Supposed to know.
Alright, at this point,
No.
you should have written down everything you know.
No, yeah, hold on.
So if you will.
You're like a good section.
Well, 2 more minutes.
5.
I got
really
one.
want it?
Do you see my tail?
It won't be 100, but it looks better than something with.
Mine's not.
No, it's not 100.
If we got the name.
Because of these two.
Yep.
The person left. Oh, yeah, my last one.
Might even be in the 90s.
Okay, good.
Okay, I think I might have got this.
Here, well,
Which one's for the minute?
right now.
That's comes the front. If y'all know it, you've written something down.
You know what? I tried.
You guys want to be creative for me now?
Yeah, I tried. I really tried. I give you a little laugh.
I'm not terrified.
Wait, it's this.
Everyone's on be like, oh, everyone's just here.
Please, partial credit, okay?
You got less than last
No.
Okay.
I just want all the letters in the name.
Well, that's something. It's still 68. Alright. So what are the names?
Magnetic, orbital, ribbon, periodic. Periodic.
Alright, so the first one is principal. We'll do them in order. Principal, orbital, magnetic, spin. Alright, so what symbol should go to principal? N.
Okay.
What?
I had them on there, dude. Just please match them up. Just, that's because I'm already getting -8 for all the what does it tell us. They're all.
You're not humorous, no.
What?
You're kind of humorous.
No, but I'm really not even trying to be funny right now. Please back them up. They're not.
Hey, every second it goes to us.
She gets everyone.
I don't want to depress y'all.
You should give her.
No, they already
Wait, I have a
Have a benchmark tomorrow.
Holy shit!
You know that. Y'all got it on the depress anyway. Have a benchmark tomorrow.
I guess most degree.
So you will see another quiz Thursday or Friday. I'll give you a break on Thursday. But you will see another quiz on Thursday or Friday. And then I'll probably stop for the quarter. And then next week we'll start the new quarter, even though it technically doesn't start till the 28th. Might not though. I might just keep it going.
Okay, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do, and I think everyone can agree. We have 4 names and 4 symbols.
It doesn't matter whether Max comes with. I should just be okay with that.
Yes, please. I'm telling you, that's all I need. I was so close to my birthday.
You know it does not work that way, Annabelle.
Anybody else? How much you're laughing?
I haven't gotten to the line. Alright, so principal tells us what now we know it's M. Size and energy level. If you only had one or the other, it's -4. If you had both, it's all 8 points. Alright, orbital, which is L. L tells us sublevel and shape. If I go back to the opening, I had both of those things written on the board. Okay? That was written on the board. Alright, magnetic is the one that Genius over here blurted out the name for, so everybody should have that one written down. That's good. The symbol for magnetic is M, and you could have either said orientation space or number of orbitals. If you only wrote orientation, -4. I will read your answers out I want to hear everybody's individual answer.
The or and
I will read it later and make a decision.
We can
All right.
talk about I love you.
All right, so the next one I can almost guarantee half of you lost 4 points. All right, so if you came up with spin quantum number, and you put S, and out to the side for what does it tell you? You wrote spin, and that's all you wrote. You lose 4 points. Okay? The spin of what? Spinning. Does anyone know what's spinning? The electron spinning. Alright, the spin of the electron is what it should say.
You're gonna go around. Another color. Give us like some balance.
Believe it or not, I will not be in the room. Well, I don't know. I have to carry the last semester to contend with, so it's possible y'all might not be able to pull that mess up.
I've done it.
You know, I have to worry about Annabelle, so. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say about the word.
All right. Now this doesn't have to go in the other. This does not have to go in the other. Now, so far we did the easy questions. This goes with Faith's question from a little while ago, when she asked me about what are we doing all them L's, M, and that zero stuff this fall. Well, here goes this. So, see if you can answer these questions. You don't have to put in the evidence.
Ms. Wall, question.
Yeah,
Whenever you finish your introduction, you can come here.
yeah. Find me some answers. See what you can do.
Give it a what is it?
These will be on the next quiz.
No. Going in the red. Yeah.
Before you dig out those letters.
Be on the next quiz.
It's not. You people don't know why about averages. You have so many grades at this point. It's not moving your average.
The last 2 grades, we don't like grades on the red line.
When that's what I just want to tell you, it would be one of these pictures. So you know that is each of
That last one. It's called literally, I dropped my little first grade in my math class, and we figured out that I had dropped a 39 level. Then I made it lower, it was 43, 6 point difference. We ended up dropping it for 3. My grade went up 6 points. So I promise you, 42 is going to do something. Promise.
He promised you.
Oh, it's 42.
Oh, Ellen is the benchmark going to be on this quarter or next quarter? I say next quarter. I say next quarter. I say delete sports. Delete
No.
For what? For ACT?
Yeah.
They use long for time. Wait, is that one?
Really not as much. It'll be counted in this quarter or next quarter. All of the above. Because I can hide up your head and figure that out.
Yeah.
Yes.
If L equals 2. What put it on it's no
Already equals 0. What are you eating?
Now, are we doing what I asked or are we moving on? And I don't need the practice.
Yes, you are.
Pretty sure I can answer all those.
What's L equals 2?
What is L?
So it must be 3. It must be 3.
You don't have to ask me you come after school Wednesday and Thursday? Just show up.
It's the,
Yeah, I'll be here. If I'm not in here, I went to the ladies' room and I'll be right back. Okay? Show up. I want to go to the bathroom. Does that make it sound better?
I'm coming here.
This
Just
is
always explain.
What is that? What is this L?
The L is telling you what sublevel. So I'm telling you what sublevel I gave when I said
Number
elementary.
nine,
I give you
it's
SPD
right now,
or
that's
F.
left like crazy. Stop it. No, it's I legitimately hope there. I mean, it's, and then we're gonna go Harry and it's great. I swear, I can't.
Shut up, all of you. If you're Kevin over here, and he's a number 9,
I'm a number 9.
and he's looking at it, and he's going,
What's the plan?
okay, what's the flip plan? He's like, L equals 2. I don't know what sublevel this was. You said SPDF. What's this 2 stuff? What's this L?
Right.
Remember, the sublevels are letters.
Letter.
They're called the quantum numbers. So we had to assign a number to all the sublevels. So what number is assigned to each sublevel? So S is assigned what number?
0.
0. P is assigned what number? 1. D is assigned what number?
2.
And F is assigned what number? 3. So if L equals 2, what sublevel are we talking about? That's a D sublevel.
I was just.
Okay, so I've given you a D sublevel. So I'm asking you, what is N? The minimum N has to be in order for you to have a D sublevel. 3 is the correct answer. Because S would be the first sublevel, P is the second sublevel, so D would be the third sublevel. So N would have to be a 3 to have the third sublevel.
Okay.
Okay, but you have to know that L equals 2 goes with the D sublevel.
Right.
What do you mean? And like, you know, like when I was like, here, remember like, M equals everything, just negative 1.
Does that help with that?
What do you mean?
You know.
Number 2.
N equals.
Yeah, how are 12 and 13? Not 5 and 6.
And does equal 4.
I think it's about something else. We're not fixing
Alright.
12, 14.
Yeah? So number 14, Howard, your answer and your question is number 12,
It is
and your
hot.
question is number 13. I think it's on here.
Miss Wall, can you go there?
As long as you're not going Friday. That's your way.
What do you mean? What? Like where are you going? I got number 8 and 9.
Okay. So you have to know the number that's assigned to this. What number did we assign to the D sublevel? 0, 1, 2, 3. 2. Remember, S is 0. Okay. So now you're going to go to M minus L positive. You're going to go from minus 2 to positive 2.
Eat my
I know you have to look. I'm trying to like figure it out. You have to look at the score. Negative 3 is the last 3. If that's F. Oh, 3. That wasn't funny, was it? The last letter. No. If the numbers
You done?
Ms. Wall, can you explain number 11?
Bring some up.
I think I did it. I just have to like. I haven't it before, and I haven't done it. And then you get it wrong.
I really guess my way. Yeah, I did it too. I shorthand.
Okay, but have a sub-level. That's one, first sub-level. So have 3 sub-levels. What energy level do you have to be in that? That's how we do that.
No, so you have to do
14.
14.
Which one?
number 9.
What have we learned about that?
If L equals 2, what sub-level we're talking about? D. So D is the third sub-level. S is 1, E is 2, D is 3. To have a third sub-level, you have to have an energy level that has 3. You just got 3 sub-levels. Remember the number of energy levels, the number of sub-levels? That's saying, and it's 3 because you got 3 sub-levels. Alright, you can't have 3 sub-levels. What are the L, what's the L value if you start at, if you start at 3 and end at 3? L, yes, it's that. Correct. She wasn't even here yesterday.
Because, right. Okay, look.
Stop thinking you can't.
So if you don't, it says,
Okay, and then the number for.
Okay, so L is 3. Because you started 3 and ended 3, so L is 3. So what sub-level is it? Start and end at 3.
It can't be 2.
So what sub-level is it? L is 3. You got that.
It's just in between what.
Okay, so what does N have to be?
It's like, it's almost like you're tracing it back.
Yes, and it's 4. It's got 4 sub-levels.
It's tracing it back. This does not.
Yes, I don't want to know the energy level, not the sub-level. What does N have to be?
That's not asking.
Alright, let's talk about some answers and this chart that I just gave. For some of you, this chart is gonna, well, it's gonna help some of you. The only problem is you don't get to use the chart on the quiz or the test. But I want to emphasize some patterns that might make things easier for some of you. Now, in question 1, if N equals 3, how many electrons are there?
18.
18. Now, for those of you who don't like to add up electrons, if N equals 3, there's a formula. That would have been where I had where the stuff was written that was on the quiz, by the way, I just erased. 2n squared will tell you total electrons in an energy level.
You couldn't tell us about like before.
I could have, but I'm trying to get you to figure this out. Now, if you want to find total electrons at an energy level, if you take and do your math the way you learned in math class, you know you have to do the exponents first. So if you say 3 squared, you get 9 times 2, which is 18. You can avoid adding up all the electrons. Now, if you want to do it Takira's way, and you want to find total orbitals, in an energy level, you can just do n squared. Okay, you just take the 2 off because we're not multiplying by the electrons, and you can get total orbitals. Now, remember, orbitals are what? What's the other word I keep using for orbitals? Orientations or pictures. Okay, they're your pictures. Now, those are 2 shortcut methods. You do not have to use them. I'm just pointing them out for those people who like shortcuts. All right. Now, number 9. Oh, I need to go back.
Wait, we're
I don't care. I'm just telling you, you can put them in your notes if you want. It's just shortcuts for those people who like shortcuts. All right. Number 9. If L equals 2. First of all, what does L equals 2 mean? You have to know the sublevel. L equals 2. Is that S, P, D, or F? It's a D sublevel. So in order to have a D sublevel, what sublevel is it? Is it the first, second, third, fourth sublevel? S, P, D is the third sublevel, right? So in order to have a third sublevel, N has to be 3. Very good. All right. If you have a D sublevel, what are the M values? M is minus L to positive L, right? So you need to know the L number. You got to know the number that was assigned to D. So what number is assigned to D? It's assigned to 2. So we're going from minus 2 to positive 2. So what number is on the number line are between minus 2 and positive 2? Yes.
Wait, can you explain that again? Why we know it's 2?
Because you need the number that's assigned to D. Okay, so you have to remember that, if I write it here, S, L is 0, P, L is 1, D, L is 2, and F, L is 3. Okay, so because they said a D sublevel, I knew that L was equal to 2. Okay, so that way I can do minus L to positive L. Oh, and none of this is on the benchmark, by the way. It stopped at the end of stoichiometry.
Are you talking about like the mole to gram thing?
All right. So, number 11 is just going backwards from what we just did in number 10. So, if you start at negative 3 and go to 3, what's your L value? L is what? L is 3. So, you know you're what sublevel?
D.
Not D. You're an F. So, to have an F, that's sublevel S, P, D, F. So, that's, and it's got to be 4. So those of you who are yelling 4, that's right. Hey, Miss Burton. Sure. She's over there. Okay. How many electrons are there if you have an F sublevel? 14. You're on the next one. All right. So for Chris, if that equals 4, how many sublevels or how many electrons are there? 32. So in the last one, I asked how those questions are different. How are they different? How do we get 14 and 12 and 32 and 13?
13 is the total. 12 is like 1.
All right. This is one sublevel. Okay. And this is a what?
Total.
What's N?
4.
What did N stand for? That's an energy level. Okay. And number 13, I asked about an energy level. And number 12, I gave you a sublevel. Okay, that's the difference. 12 says an F sublevel, and 13 says an energy level, because I said N equals. So you have to add them all up.
Right.
Questions?
Are you going to do number 8? Or did you?
I already did that. That's why we wrote this down right here, because people yelled out 18.
What was the last one that said?
You can add up the sublevels, Nylasia. How many sublevels would N equals 3 have? What are they? How many electrons are in S?
I got 2.
How many are in P?
3.
3 pictures. How many electrons?
6.
So 2 plus 6. And how many in D?
I didn't like get it.
How many did D have? So 2 plus 6 plus 10 is 18. Now, if you don't want to do that every time, that's why I showed you the shortcut where you could do 2n squared.
Hey, so have we done 14?
Have we done what?
14.
Yes, what I just say about 14. What is 12 asking you? For the what?
Sublevel.
And what is 13 asking for?
Electron.
It's asking for the energy level.
5 or 5 for much. It has to be close to.
Everybody else, question? All right, let's see what we can do with this chart. One that Noah just handed you. Hopefully you didn't lose it yet.
Oh, and do we use like the N2 and stuff to read Moore's model?
Nope.
No. I did. Like the level, you don't use it?
No.
So then what is
I will be here Wednesday and Thursday.
How are you gonna be here on Wednesday?
Probably 4:30.
And when is the benchmark?
Tomorrow. All right. I'm going to do n equals 2. And y'all are going to fill in the rest. All right. How many sublevels are there if n equals 2?
You cheated. Why would
Okay.
one?
What are their names? 2S and 2P. Yep. All right. What value is assigned to S? What number? Okay. So L equals 0. What number is assigned to P? Okay. How many orbitals does each have? Now, orbitals, right up here, are pictures.
1, 3.
So 1 and 3.
Why is there 2 separate ones?
Because how many sublevels does 2 have? We're doing this for the S sublevel and the P sublevel. So the S sublevel has a value and a number of orbitals. The P sublevel has its own value and its own set of orbitals. They're not the same.
Wait.
So the S sublevel, how many electrons can I put in that sublevel? How many electrons can I put in the P sublevel? 6. All right. What's the M value of the S sublevel? Okay, this would be minus L to positive L. So did everybody hear what Chris said?
No.
So what do I use? I use this 0. So what's minus 0 to positive 0? Is 0. Now, for the P sublevel, I'm using what number? I'm using the 1. So minus 1 to positive 1 would give me what numbers? Negative 1, 0, and 1. Now, this column should correspond, don't draw the 0, should correspond to that column. I said there's how many pictures? So I should have how many numbers? I said there's how many pictures? I should have how many numbers? Okay? Now, the spin value. What's the spin value? Plus or minus 1/2. It just tells us they spin how? Clockwise and counterclockwise. All right?
For both?
Yep. All right. How many total electrons are in the energy level? Well, how many were in S? And how many are in P? So 2 plus 6 is? 8. Or you could use 2n squared. Okay? I don't typically use 2n squared, but y'all are welcome to use it. Now, how many total orbitals are in the energy level? Well, how many orbitals are in S? How many are in P? So 1 plus 3 is what? 4. Questions?
A lot.
All right.
This is extra.
I want you to do the other 3 rows. I want you to see the patterns. Don't moan,
Can you
don't talk to others, just do it.
Can you explain the orbital levels again?
The orbitals are the pictures. How many different X, Y, and Z pictures did you have?
Here.
Those are the orbitals. Okay? She watched the video last night. It's a novel concept for people who are absent. But that's actually why I do it in post. Question. Go to n equals 1.
So wait, no matter,
And if you want,
no matter the number of the front, the sub-rows should all be the same.
Correct. All right, so the value, right there, 90.
I don't know this long.
You said there's one sublevel. What's the name of that one sublevel? What's the name of the first sublevel?
yeah,
What's the name of the four sublevels?
S, E, E, L.
You got the first three. Get rid of that L. S, B, D. F.
F.
Good. All right, so what's the name of the first one?
F. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. B. B.
The name of the first one?
F.
Frame. By the time you get that far,
Is it F?
S, P, D,
S.
F. You gotta work in that order.
But that's S. Already down.
Doesn't matter. So the first sublevel is S. You're gonna put one S there.
This one is split.
Nope, because you only got one sublevel.
The value.
What number is assigned to F?
Oh, it's the. Why did you put that?
Because they're still on my definition. They're gonna show.
Oh.
What number?
Whoa.
Okay. All right. So what L value?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
32.
Yes. Correct. Yes.
He didn't.
He
did.
Yes. Y'all roll now. Keep going.
Come back.
Come on.
Two again?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Is it the orbital of the pictures?
Yes. All right, what's wrong, Frank?
The picture, the orbital of the picture. Yeah.
What did the spin say?
the spin value is.
Oh,
So is this one?
Three. This one.
Go back to that 3D and get rid of it. What's the first sublevel? Yep.
Like crap.
Yes.
Plus 3.
Now keep going.
0.
Yep. Only change it to what level?
So it doesn't matter the.
One.
What?
Yep.
I don't ever, like, I don't, you know, like, I don't.
Only I did it.
Yes.
Well, what are you eating?
What?
Snap
They're
peas.
called harvest snackers, green pea snack crisps.
My mom loves those.
They're in order.
It's like,
Really? What? No, they are not.
you know what?
No,
No,
they're
not like the. I don't know.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that like
What?
You could buy
What?
Snap peas. You would text them all years. Nutrition workout life.
And then
Go away.
what makes me happy punches cancels out and then I'm just sad. So that's you know what, armor. What'd you get?
It's not.
It probably is. I
You
promise.
show with your fingers if you go. If you can. I can. I can show with my fingers.
Oh, I can't show
I
that.
didn't get it.
Oh, I see a pattern. The spin value.
Here goes that works.
That's the.
Uh,
Well, you got a lot of extra.
Oh wait, yeah, so honestly, maybe you got the same thing with mine as me with extra credit.
Probably.
So,
oh, I see. a
I know,
pattern.
I have to.
Wait, is there anything else you have with that?
Huh? I don't
There's a C, there's a difference.
That's the different place.
Yeah. But like when you think about it, with all of these lessons and how long those still gone. 3.2 for credit X one was not cutting. No. But then, thank you first. I was up till 2 in the morning just to do 8 of them. I couldn't even do the work while I was. Where's
I gotta be in there like. What'd you do? Maybe less.
I only did one of mine.
I will do it for 5 minutes. Literally, most of it was like getting into the calculator and finding the interface.
And I would browse the wrong one every single time.
It told you.
Yes,
That's the
but
place.
then, you know how computers, like literally, I got to write
Did you use them?
twice, but I'm gonna stay space at the end. Kind of like, I'll be honest, that's when I was at Black Chicken and I literally lost my mind. Yes, sir.
Oh, you told me that.
Well, I messed up.
Yeah, so yes.
Deal.
Yes. Some game.
Oh, here's the
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Unless it's so yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How many are there?
Shut up.
I hope I have the
I don't think I have enough cards.
It's not brown glue.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but now you say this, you just said, hey.
Put it in the cute.
In fact, we haven't even gotten to the AP review yet. Although it's while you're 32, kind of looks like a 36.
Yeah, it looks.
It's a final exam grade.
Let me fix my E.
Oh, yeah. And you look at it. The research.
Is that better?
Yeah.
The research paper.
All right. So if you look at the answers, I think other than fixing my 32E so it doesn't look like 36, I think most of it's legible.
It doesn't look like a 6.
Where does it look like?
Oh, I moved the E over when I had the 32E written the first time. The E looked like 36 according to Kira. So I moved it so it's not quite so close. Question.
I was basically there.
No. I thought, yeah, no, they don't.
I was.
They wouldn't have. What?
Who gave me that? What is the
The former media center's mom. Yeah.
How do we get
Pictures.
The pictures, when you add up the number of pictures, so like this one, the 1, 3, 5, 7, I added those together. Now there's a formula you can use n squared, but I just add them.
Yeah, it's square stuff. Oh.
I did it.
Good. All right. Can I take it down?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna flip our order since y'all are all about wanting to play a Kahoot. We'll do Kahoot first. And if we have time, we'll do the puzzle. The laptop card should be open, or you can use your phone if you prefer. I don't want to hear any complaining if your phone locks up or anything else. But the left-hand door has a list of your name and what laptop you're supposed to get.
We're not.
No, you can use it. I don't care.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't really want to get a lot of confidence. I feel like putting it away. But also, we're not going to go to the smart board.
I can't do it in my other periods because I have a test.
Sure, we're not doing anything important.
Okay. Well, it is important, but I don't.
Who was this? Was our sheriff? What was that?
Where's the Thank you. I'm using one of those compacts.
I know you are.
Is that for you? Is it for the
And do not put in a stupid name because I will reach out.
and a B?
Candy.
Do I have candy?
Eat my phone.
Extra credit.
If you had, I'd eat it.
Do we have to play?
Wow.
You must have. Oh, we should have.
2 points extra credit on the woods.
2. Oh my God.
5.
Do we have to play as well?
I'd say get 5.
Doctor question.
What? Who's jewelry?
Not me.
Put me in childish. Y'all is childish. Y'all play. Stop looking at those.
My initials.
Put your name in there so I know who you are.
Oh my
Put in Faith so I know who you are. My old brain can't figure out whose initials are whose. I'd have been trying to figure out where the M&Ms were if you put MM. Yeah, see, Faith, I know who you are now.
Okay.
23 people.
What is?
Every day.
I think I have one more in the refrigerator, not orange drink for lunch. I don't know. I probably drink 2 while I'm at school. I don't drink that much. All right. If you need anybody else still waiting on their phones to come up? If you need the code, it's on the board. It's only 14 questions, and these are not real hard questions.
That is so rude of them because they should have had bread in the bread. That's rude because I just picked bread and I chose this one.
This isn't accurate. And by the way, this is mine, not theirs. No! So when you look up 4 to 2, 4 to 2 has what number?
Great try.
486, so 4.8 would be blue.
Don't start the next one. I gotta
Do we need any other sheets? Do we just need this one?
I haven't got you.
I guess you told me to give it to you.
I can't say if you do or not. I might keep it out. right, are we done?
Yes.
Okay.
Russell walked up like that.
Chris.
Question the middle.
I don't know.
Wait, orbitals are pictures, right? Yeah, yes. It's five.
Yes, ma'am.
Not bad. Remember, orbitals are pictures. D has 5.
I don't know.
This was on the quiz today.
Yeah, I got it wrong.
Based on y'all's response.
As long as they're thinking you're. Well, then, I hate you.
Alright, not bad.
Wait, Kevin.
Why did I get? Wait, what was the answer?
Principal.
How many electrons do Are you serious? Not 3? Okay. It's 6.
The pictures are 3, and each picture holds how many? 2.
What does that mean? You're the only one getting wrong, right?
Again, on the quiz.
Wait a minute, no, that's cheating. There's that.
What is the symbol of the? No.
Yeah, I got it right.
Oh, I got it right.
I thought there was
Oh yeah. It is.
Sublevels is the same as the energy level. So if you have 4 energy levels, you have 4 sublevels.
I couldn't even answer, but I didn't know what was up.
Oh my God.
Do it.
Thank you.
Not bad.
I put yellow.
I'm a little worried about some of those other answers, though.
I can't see anything.
Oh my God, I'm in it.
I don't know.
You want to stay?
I don't know that.
Girl, we don't know. It's okay.
I don't know either.
We don't know. We just got like 50 on the quiz.
Told me on the quiz yesterday.
Yes,
They
she
didn't pay
did.
any attention to me.
She lied.
They're just looking at me like, yes, you did. Yeah, I did.
No.
Which quantum number tells the number of orbitals? Magnetic. You can either learn it as the number of orbitals or orientations.
No, I thought orbital and orbital.
And somebody picked spin, really?
She didn't mean to. It was fake. The color out. It was. Yeah. Let's go. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm a circle. I didn't say you're a circle. Really?
Now, I'm gonna guess those of you who picked the blue didn't see the circle answer before you picked the blue answer. Okay. Make sure you look at all the answers before you pick them. Okay?
Says to be quiet.
Again, this was on the quiz.
No.
This is Why did I get plus zero? Plus zero. That's something. Plus zero. Plus zero. It says plus zero. This wall.
I don't know. I haven't had how this game works.
Hey, how can I go down?
All right, so number it's also about time. So 3F. Can an F exist in a third sublevel?
No.
And a 3, you gotta have at least or for a
SPD.
SPD. So an F has to be a what?
4
A 4 or higher.
I went up to 27. Wait. Oh my God.
Whoopsies.
What are orientations? The picture. So F has how many different pictures? 7. D has 5 and 14's electrons.
Last question.
All right.
Why is it my?
It's all pretty cool, right?
Orbital. Oh, it says 14.16.
That's good.
I keep going down.
I'm hoping the person who picked orbital just accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. All right, last question.
I don't know.
No, it's actually
Oh, I got that face plate.
No, if that equals 3, what does that equals 3 mean? You gotta add them together. It's an energy level. So you gotta add the S, the P, and the D together. How many are an S? 2. How many are P? P can hold how many? 6. So 2 plus 6, how many can D hold? 10. So 2 plus 6 plus 10 is 18.
Extra credit for first place.
I'm top 5. No, what's the next one? I'm
Go to top 20.
I'm right there.
Okay.
Chris, you were.
I don't even know how to get top 20, nor do I care.
Oh, really?
I was second.
All right.
Do we do another one?
No, I'll have another one. All right, now.
What?
What?
What another
No.
Look up chemistry.
No. Don't do that.
Hey,
Shush.
come on. There's the one for stoichiometry since that's what we're doing, Mark. Remember that stuff.
No.
No.
No. Shush. Now, if you have a laptop, put it in the cart and plug it in.
It's wow.
What? Y'all are annoying.
Yeah, we know.
No, it's like it's
We
work.
did do that.
It's gonna be like next time.
All right, if you will, find your notes. I don't think we have time to do the puzzle.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do the puzzle. Yeah, let's forget the notes. We're gonna forget it anyways.
Right, Ms. Paul, let's not start something new.
We don't have time.
We're taking a bench strike tomorrow.
We all.
It's gonna be easy in our
Look at
mind.
this again.
We ain't got one.
Y'all ain't got one. I don't have time.
Can we do this one?
The puzzle does. We do not have time to do this puzzle.
We just started.
But we have time to do notes.
Review.
It's a chart puzzle.
Oh,
you right. Right. No, we're supposed to do last. Where's that puzzle at?
Right.
I told you we don't have time to do the
Yes,
puzzle.
we
Well, we have
do.
time to do the notes. We got time to do the puzzle.
All right, for those of you who like titles,
Are you serious?
why not? What's yours? I walk around eating peapods again, so I'm less serious. But I don't know.
That is so
I call
disgusting.
peapods.
Snap peas.
They're called
That's
snap
the
peas.
only meat puzzle.
I just call peapods. I'm the only one that eats with miles too.
It's nasty.
I call them fake chips.
Fake chips.
Where?
Those are salty like chips.
I already ate
And then you're trying to eat healthy, but
I don't think they're that
you can get veggies. Hey, all y'all, you go to Chick-fil-A frosted quinoa. It is so good. It tastes like sherbet.
bad. I don't like quinoa.
Me neither. It tastes like sherbet. It tastes like. It doesn't taste anything like quinoa pie because I hate that.
Me too.
It just tastes like. It really does taste like lime and lemonade, and it is so good. What is it? The frosted quinoa.
I just need Christmas to come back so we can have that chocolate peppermint shake thing again.
Oh, that is. You know, I had one of those for almost every time I come. And you got like a good job. It was.
Now, for those of you who like titles, again, title is electron configuration.
I do say that.
All right. We're gonna learn.
Belgian bakes right now.
How do you say yours again?
A buffalo chicken. That's it.
Told you, he just pronounced it
Your
sort
daughter
of
shot.
Now, we're gonna learn 4 different ways to write electron configurations. So after we take our quiz either Thursday or Friday,
Stop! I won't be here Friday.
we'll do a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a Thursday just so you know we can watch Annabelle cry on Thursday. She said she won't be here Friday and we miss out.
Yeah.
I want to see those tears.
I know. So the next quiz will not be until next week because we're going to learn 4 different ways to draw electron configurations. And we won't take the next quiz until we can do all 4. So after we take our quiz on quantum numbers, that will be it until we can do these 4 times. So best guess is it would be Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, so.
All right, so
That was just clarification that we are not using a test or quiz on Friday.
if we do the quiz on Thursday, which we're ready for at this point, then I'm feeling okay with Thursday. What we're doing practicing today, I'm going to give you another practice sheet tonight that you don't have to do tonight. We'll just do it on Thursday. We'll go over it and then we'll be ready to take the quiz.
Okay, but y'all won't be here Friday, what are the people?
Have fun.
Right, like, we were supposed to stay for some of the day, but everyone just had such a hard week on Tuesday. So we decided we're gonna stay at our friends and we're gonna leave at like 3 in the morning. No, I don't have any money in the bank, I just got invited to stay at my house.
All right, so the alphabet principle says an electron. Nobody cares about Annabelle's beach trip.
Right?
It might be quiet on Friday. Maybe we should stay on Monday. All right, all the electrons will fill the lowest energy level possible. So let's pretend for a moment that Annabelle's not going to stay at her house. She's going to stay at a hotel at the beach. Okay? 3 or 4 floor hotel. So if we're going to stay at the hotel, we can't get a room on the 2nd floor until what happens according to alphabet.
The first one's full.
The first floor is full. Okay? So in order to get a room on the 3rd floor, what has to happen on the 2nd floor?
Both of them.
All the 1st floor and all the 2nd floor has to be what? Have to be filled. Okay? So when we draw these electron configurations, all the types we're going to draw, you can't put electrons in any level until all the levels below are full. Okay? Now, the second rule that we're going to use. All right? Hund's rule. Okay? Electrons will fill orbitals that are degenerate. Okay? Electrons will fill orbitals that are degenerate. All right? And in parentheses, I told you what degenerate means. That means they're of equal energy. Singularly, before they pair up. Now, when we're walking through this on Thursday, I will explain this very much like bedrooms. Do y'all have brothers and sisters? Okay? Do you have your own room or do you have to share a room? All right. Electrons are like y'all. All right? Electrons are like y'all. They prefer to have their own room. But unfortunately for Annabelle, her parents either oops or it was planned. And they said, let's have another baby.
Why'd you say it like that?
But the house did not have another bedroom.
That's what was worked out.
And so they could either build an addition or share. And in orbital notations, in electron configurations, can we just add on some extra rooms? No. So the electrons have to do what? They have to share.
Or you tell them a whole life story.
So that's what happened. So many of you might have that same experience. Okay? So the lesson in this is down the road, when you're making family choices, remember Annabelle. All right? The last one is the Pauli exclusion principle. Hold on, I want to change one word. All right, no two atoms will have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. No two atoms will have the same set of 4 quantum numbers, which basically means there are 118 elements. So there are 118 electron configurations. Okay? Given that every single element, we just learned about the quantum numbers, right? What was the point of the quantum numbers? They're addresses for the electrons, correct?
Right.
Do you guys all have the same address, or do you have a different address? We all have a different address. And we all have different houses. So if we all have the same address, would we be able to get our mail? No. So we have 118 elements on the periodic table. Yeah. 118 elements. Just go check myself. All right, so if there are 118 elements, can they have the same address? No. They can't have the same address, or they're going to be the same element. So if they have different addresses, that means we have to be able to draw different electron configurations. Because when we're drawing the electron configurations, we're showing where the electrons live. That's the point of the electron configuration. It's a map of where the electrons are. Now, we're going to start with very detailed, and we're going to work to very short and not very detailed. Now, I can start with very short and not very detailed, but it'd make no sense. So we have to start with long so it makes sense, and then work to very little. Okay? Now,
4 minutes left.
we have 6 minutes left, not 4. Now,
You always stop at like 38. So we have 40.
I'm glad you can predict that. Now, with my remaining time, for the benchmark tomorrow, I have questions. I think there's 45. I have questions that start with the very first week. I did not put converting questions on. Don't pack up so your classmates can't hear while you're shuffling stuff around. I do have significant digit questions, such as reading equipment. I do have specific heat. I do have chemical and physical changes on there. I do have density on there. I do have some of the stuff in that first unit, even though it will not be on the final exam with significant digits and some things like that. We covered it, and I still want you to be able to do it because it's an honors class. Okay? So don't skip all that. Now, our traditional things like naming, all the types of stoichiometry we just did, writing and balancing equations, All of that, I think you guys will do very well with because it's all very fresh. But the stuff that I would tell you to go back and spend a little time tonight looking at is probably that very first unit that you haven't looked at since probably the first 2 weeks of the semester. Because that's the stuff you're going to have forgotten.
Is this multiple choice?
It's all multiple choice.
Okay.
Thank
You said conversion.
I don't think I put anything. There might be grams to kilogram conversion, but I don't think so. Alright?
What about?
What? Temperature would be fair game. Yes, temperature, specific heat, that's on there.
Wait, you gotta use that orange sheet, right?
You get to use the orange sheet and your periodic table. Oxidation sheet still allowed. And we're on day 40 today. You're 20 days away from losing. Chemical and physical properties are on there.
You said listen to
Yes.
sheet?
Yeah, I think 60 on you.
Day 60.
Are we,
What?
so we have to remember all those.
I would have taught you ways to find it.
Wait, when you say day 60 goes away, we'll never use it again?
You will never use it again in class. Because
she
you want
would've-
an exam.
She would have.
I would have taught you ways to find stuff.
But so none of the
Multiple ratios are on there. But that should be pretty fresh in your mind. We just tested on that. Okay, it's that old stuff that you would have forgotten.
Can you make this up that stuff that you put in my body?
What? So your homework for Thursday. Alright, homework for Thursday. It's like last night. It's just read and find an answer.
A lot.
I'm really I'm really.
I think I put
Do you want to put
For the fourth time, y'all are doing all the questions.
Where's the review?
What review?
Just say.
This is Thursday's homework.
Wait, so we don't do it?
It's Tuesday. It's due Thursday. You remember that part about we were doing the quiz on Thursday because we wanted to see Annabelle cry?
Yes.
This is to help you practice for Thursday's quiz on the watermelon.
Y'all are so nice.
You're the one who said do it on Thursday.
But this why is he gonna give us our grade after we're done? Wait, it's on paper. It's on paper.
It's on paper. You know I'm not doing it on computer, cutting out and pasting and typing all that crap. Give me a break.
Give me a word.
Annabelle.